Yep.
Austin Private Wealth said, hey, no, we actually made an error. We've never done that kind of thing before.
That sounds so believable. No, come on. A clerical error of that magnitude and that timing. Yeah.
Before we start, we need to tell you up front we are not a licensed financial planning, accounting or law firm. This is simply an education program which will give you factual information. We do not give any general or specific advice around finance, business, investing, options trading or anything else. That is not what this presentation does. Please see a licensed financial planner when it comes to any investment advice you need.
Interesting now that the world is at a bit of a stage of uncertainty as to what its future holds. And we're seeing this come about, as a result of the announcement that the Biden is dropping out of the race.
Finally.
for the US election. Things are up for grabs in terms of who the Democrat nominee will be.
Look, I'm shocked because I was going to vote for Biden.
As
an illegal immigrant, I was going to swim over there, walk in there, say, look at the color of my skin. I have no ID. I'll be fine. Vote,
you are
and
Indian.
then swim home. Exactly. And I'd then swim home.
So it's really amazing to watch that go on, that uncertainty. And
Yep.
You also have to look at, there's other indicators. And let me show you where I'm going with this first, and then I'll show things that support it. Why? Because in the markets, when there's uncertainty, political uncertainty, especially the stock market, it kind of goes flat for a while, kind of figuring out, all right, which way are we going to go? Are we bullish on the market, the economy, or are we bearish on it? And so it's been very bullish run up to this point. And then you've got, of course, this story that's come out, rumors, whether it be true or not, that there was a big investment firm that was shorting the Truth Social stock with Donald Trump the day before the assassination attempt. Now, this has been debunked by some other group saying it was a clerical error. That the investment company that filed it with the Securities and Exchange Commission, Austin Private Wealth said, hey, no, we actually made an error. We've never done that kind of thing before.
That sounds so believable. No, come on. A clerical error of that magnitude and that timing. Yeah. Okay.
Well, you've got to remember these companies have to list publicly what they're doing sometimes on these big moves. So was it a clerical error in the reporting? We're not sure. But for people who go, what's the big deal about that, who don't understand? So shorting the market is basically when traders or investment firms believe that the market's going to crash.
Sure.
So what they're doing is setting up trade positions to try to attempt to profit from the market crashing. Or a stock crashing or some kind of derivative. And that's what's occurred in this place when they buy puts without the stock in it. We call that shorting the market. So basically, this was a bet that this stock would fall over a certain time. And when you see one that was over 12 million positions or over 12 million shares, it sort of set alarm bells off going, well, hang on, was this some sort of insider job? That was the rumor that was going around days after the assassination attempt. It's since come out that Austin Private Wealth said, no, it was a clerical error that was occurring here, that we did it on over 1,200 shares, not 12 million shares.
That's a big typo.
12 contracts rather than not 12 million. And you've got to remember that in on the US market, one contract in options is over 100 shares. So
you know what happened there? They hired the dude with epilepsy, and that's his.
It was just the wrong stock to do it on. If there had to be a clerical error, that was not the stock to do it on. My point is this. Political uncertainty brings uncertainty in the stock market. What this is going to do in terms of the politics, will Kamala Harris get the gig? We'll have to see that. We've had the views that it was quite an emotional scenes from the Republican National Convention. If you've been following or watching some of that, some of the speeches are like choking up and all that sort of stuff,
I mean, look, Trump's granddaughter gave a speech, and it was a beautiful speech. It was great.
And my grandpa does this, and it was like every dad and grandpa, someone with kids goes, oh my goodness. She did it well. She pulled it off really
absolutely nailed it, didn't she?
Yeah. So we'll see where this goes as far as the market's concerned.
You know what's really funny? She did better doing that speech than what Biden did with 7 days practice for the debate,
and less takes. Oh dear!
Now, on this, if I may pick this up,
Yeah,
is that there is some talk that I've heard on social media
yeah,
that they will try to, once if they can't win the political election,
Yep.
they'll try to crash the economy once Trump's in power. Now,
Okay.
there is that talk going on, and then it'll end up with an economic mess, and then
Yep.
they can turn around and blame and say, well, look, it's because you got in there, et cetera, et cetera. There is that kind of conjecture going on.
Haven't the Democrats been saying the whole reason our economy is a mess because we inherited it from Trump?
But imagine, okay, being so deep in your own narcissism, right? And you actually, being a fair dinkum psychopath, that you would destroy a nation's economic prosperity just for power. Like
But isn't that what socialism is?
Guess it is. But in socialism, there is perhaps a hidden sort of positive, in there. Okay, you're trying.
I don't know where, but
I'll tell
okay.
you. Okay. No, you're trying to look after the population. Socialism theoretically is about looking after the people. Same with communism.
Stealing from
right?
the rich, give it to the poor.
Yeah, it's got that whole Robin Hood thing going on, right? I mean, the reality, it doesn't work. And in fact, it oppresses people, goes the complete wrong way.
Because people are generally naturally corrupt and they'll do what's best in interest of me and my family.
Yeah,
So it would never work.
Self-interest and greed.
Yeah, spot on. You can't change that human part of our DNA that we do have that, right? And the cream still needs to rise to the top. Hang on, we've got all sorts of weird things going on there. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Josh.
Okay.
Still kicking like Trump, baby. We haven't seen him for a while, so it's good.
Good.
So will it go flat for a while till the Democrats work out what's going on? Will we see it become positive? Typically after an election, you see the market go up. Obviously, past performance doesn't mean it's going to do that in the future. I've got to throw the disclaimer in there. But you often see the uptick. Okay, we sorted out the election, and then you see it uptick in the market.
Now
going
time
up.
for business. Yeah.
Time for business. Let's get down to it and make some bucks. I think that the underbelly, there's certainly been, with what we're seeing with the BRICS nations forming as it is, you cannot ignore what's happening outside of America. And that's going to have economic effects globally. It's going to have, particularly in the foreign exchange markets, if they're using less US dollars to do their big transactions cross borders.
Okay.
So that's something to keep an eye on. Basically, how other economies are performing as well. There's also tons of elections happening globally, not just in the United States, the big one.
This year's been huge for that.
This is the nations are fighting back for their freedoms, or the people of the nations are fighting back for their freedoms, particularly in the Western worlds. But you see the BRICS starting to align and do deals. This is going to be very, very interesting how this plays out.
Now, I had a conversation yesterday the day before with some incredibly intelligent people I know. Okay, like they're worldly, they're professionals, they have very responsible careers. I mentioned BRICS and they looked at me like I was an alien. Didn't know a thing about it. Didn't understand what was going on.
They thought you were angry and you were shitting bricks.
Maybe they did. Who knows? But then I had to go and start explaining. And to watch this, their face dropped, like just to not know that this is going on. And this is, again, we come back to education. Right? We'll harp on it forever. Get educated about this stuff.
You know what?
Because this stuff does matter.
If you guys do have questions, remember, we do have the educational genius right here.
Yes.
He will ruin you for life.
In a good way.
Yeah. In a very good
questionable, but yes, in a good way. But I've done both the entry level courses and his more advanced course.
Right.
Would I say I earn more money through? No, my job still earns me more, but it's rapidly changing.
Okay.
So, which is a little bit scary.
It takes a while to transition.
Thank you, Derek.
It takes a while to transition. You got to plan these things.
You do.
Unhooking yourself from a system that.
The funniest one was
what?
Because I've got so much, like I'm deviating from what the normal does to what I want to do now. Sure. Someone asked me that we were at one of the networking events, and they're like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, where do I start?"
Yeah. Where do you start?
So it's like trying to explain to people that I'm affected by choice. I could be retired right now.
Yeah, but look,
no,
it
would work for you.
I'd be too bored. Like, there's only so many computer games you can play.
I think I'll sum it up this way, right? I remember when I went and I changed schools, right, to a different high school. Okay, and I was what just freshly 13 years of age, and you had to put down on the paperwork what you actually wanted to be, right? Okay. And this is what I think this is the safe way to answer the question. What do you want to be? What do you do for a living? I'm an entrepreneur. It's as simple as that. And that's what I wrote at 13 years of age on my little school application thing. And the woman smiled and said to me, she said, first, she goes, that's really impressive. Really impressive. I've never seen anyone write that before. But do you know you misspelt it?
I was waiting for that bit. I was waiting.
So, and I just jokingly said, well, I'll learn to be an entrepreneur, then I'll learn how to spell the word. Right? And, had a bit of a laugh.
Well, you were in the wrong spot to learn to be an entrepreneur in the first place. So,
yes,
anyway.
true. But there you go. But that's the easiest way. And I think, look, so many of us have to embrace that. And that doesn't mean you have to be self-employed. Look, the fact is you could be working for a salary. Just have a side gig. Be working on having a passive income. Looking at these like the stuff, as I say, that the information I've gained from the knowledge from Derek's courses that I'm using to develop a passive income. All right, so that it's off earning while I'm sleeping theoretically, right, or or here at edge or whatever. So we've all got that capacity, and I really encourage everybody to sort of embrace that.
The best entry point probably was Robert Kiyosaki's The Cash Flow Quadrant.
Okay,
I think that one was the one that really opened up my eyes on looking at different things, and then Derek's courses just explained in detail each of the quadrants, and then from there how to use it. And then the advanced one was like, now this is actually how you make the money.
BlueSkyFactory.com.au.
It's interesting. We don't want to blow my own trumpet, but we've actually reached a point with our students that we're now having to teach them more on keeping the money.
Good.
So we've looked at courses about making them. I've had one who's made about 450,000 in one trade recently, and he's going, do you have any more courses? And I was sitting there going,
yes, I'll teach him a course in broadcasting.
So just so you guys know, I have just put the Blu Sky Factory link in the website. That is not a typo. Blue does not have an E in it, probably for copyright laws. I don't know, I'm just making that shit up. So yes, anyway, so back to the show. We've done too long of the infomercial for Derek as it is.
Well, we kind of get caught in it, and it's because it's genuine. Like, honestly, this is the thing, that this is life-changing. Okay, you do look at things differently. And as I said, when I was having this conversation with these very, very intelligent, I don't want to say what they did for a living, very intelligent people, all right, very accomplished people. And when they don't know that these systems are in place, it's not because they're not intelligent, it's because they're not exposed to it. Yeah, so get exposed.
And that's my big concern, is that the mainstream media are not talking about this stuff.
Well,
this is life-changing stuff that's happening behind the scenes. The BRICS nations, and kudos to Travis, who got me onto it too, because I hadn't really been looking at it very closely. And when he brought it up one show, I was like, okay, he's onto something here. Let's look at this even further.